12-to-1 pistons. So alright guys, and welcome back to Yoast Build. So what we're going to get into today is porting and polishing our 2.0 Neon RT single cam cylinder head. And you can see I already got started right there. This head is going to be a very simple cleanup, nothing too amazing. I'm going to blend the bowls. This is the bowl area right here. If you guys have ever heard me talk about bowls, I'm not talking about the bowl you smoke cannabis with. I'm talking about the bowl on the head. You basically, here, let me see, go to one that's clean. So when you do a valve job, you're actually touching this portion right here. This is actually called your valve seat. If you guys see this, it's actually cut into the head, and then this is pressed in. They're usually cooled down, pressed in, and then warmed back up to temperature. And this is a press fit piece, kind of like your valve guide, which is all the way down there. There is all the valves themselves, which I need to clean them up as well. But you basically, for good flowing standard, cleanup and port job, what you want to do is you want to smooth the edge of this press seat to the head. And then, of course, you want to gasket match this to the intake manifold. The number one no-no, and a lot of people do it, is just hogging out these holes and make them as big as possible. The problem with hogging out ports is you actually kill the velocity of the head. So if you have a really high compression motor and you're running nitromethane or something like that, yes, the biggest hole is usually better. But for a standard pump gas car or an E85 car, you need velocity in the port. You need basically like, how can I talk about this without sounding too crazy? So basically think about it like if you go and get like a big gulp from 7-Eleven. If you get one of the really small straws, like a coffee straw, and you suck through it, yes, you don't suck as much fluid through, but you get it, you can suck it through at a faster rate of speed than if you got one of the big gulp straws and you suck the same amount of pressure on it. So yes, the bigger straw will get more stuff to you, but it won't move the air as fast in the cylinder. And the last thing you want is air dead spots in your cylinder, because all that does is create turbulence. And I know a lot of people have talked about, fully polishing out, making these as smooth as possible. That's a hit and miss thing. The number one thing I've ever been told, and I've talked to a lot of machine shops and stuff like that, because they always see my port work and they always commend me on doing such a decent job for never actually being a professional at it. I never really try to kill the ports. I've seen a lot of port jobs that are crazy, where they hog out the ports and everything, and they make them look, it looks good in pictures and everything, but when you go to stick it on the flow bench, it doesn't really flow that much more. Or they make the hole so big that you're gonna need a, say, 600 lift cam. Well, these motors, here's all the parts to put the motor together. That'll be in another video. But these motors, the biggest cams you can fit in these things are like 450 lift. So there's no reason for a 600, lift style port on a motor that the biggest cam you can put is 450. So like a simple 2-liter Neon RT setup with decent port job, they're basically blending bowls, gasket matching, and cleaning up the exhaust. The exhaust is actually the worst part on this motor, and we actually have a regular standard Neon head, which I'm going to show you a comparison of, and you'll see why the Neon RT head is such a more gone after, sought after head than a standard Neon head. So let's get into the video. Hope you guys enjoy, and as always, you guys are the greatest. All right, guys. So I've been working on this head for a few hours now. The time lapse has actually died twice because of how long this actually takes. So I got the intake ports pretty much how I want them. Like I said, all I'm doing on this head is blending the seats into the bowls, doing a little bit of bowl work, just cleaning it up, getting rid of all the castings as much as I can simply with just using little baby Dremel bits, no like crazy aluminum porting bits. And now I'm working on the exhaust. The exhaust is horrible on these heads. Like I was telling you, this is the most restrictive part, and what I found out so far about the Ecotechs and all of those, it's the same exact thing. So I actually opened the gasket set. The intake manifold gasket is literally within like a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. So I don't want to port the opening anymore, just in case the intake manifold, if we want to port it later on, we don't have to worry about it not being, or it being too small or too large. You don't want to have, you never want to have the air coming from the intake manifold hit an edge here. So you always want to have your intake manifold smaller than your head port, if not perfectly gasket matched. But we're not worried about that on this stage of this head. This is literally just the first stage, first build of the Nitrous Neon. So actually, let me go get the other single cam head and just show you how bad a non-RT head is compared to a RT head. All right, guys. So this is a non-RT head, and this is an RT head. If you guys look right here, I'll go up and close. Look at this. 2 fingers, and literally 1 finger hits both sides of the port. If I put 2 fingers next to this one, look how much room you can have on there. If I stick 1 finger in this port, look how much room is under the bottom or the top. And I have not ported this, and this is just the stock head off of one of the cars. So you gain a good amount of airflow. These Magnum heads can make about 150 wheel horsepower stock. These non-Magnum heads make around 135 horsepower stock. So 15 horsepower just off the head. The chamber looks exactly the same. The intake side looks exactly the same. Literally all they did to improve was fix the exhaust side. These are probably one of the most restrictive ports I've ever seen. And I feel bad for the people that try to use these heads to make power, because you're gonna have to do some major port work to get it close to one of these. The biggest problem with these heads is if you look right here where the water passages are, these water passages actually run right here. So there's a little, basically the floor of the exhaust chamber, or I mean the exhaust port, is really raised. A lot of ported heads I've seen, they literally cut this floor down a lot. I am not gonna do that, because I actually measured the gasket versus this, versus the TTI header and the, I think, Enforcer header we have. And the ports are actually kind of close between the head and the header already, so there's no need to hog this out. This looks like there's a lot, it's just the gasket is really large compared to the port on the head and the port on the header. So I'm gonna get back to porting. At the end of this video, I'll show you the parts that we have for the head and what we're gonna start with for the nitrous build. And then the next video will be us building the short block for the Neon. It's right there. I've been cleaning it up while taking breaks and letting the Dremel cool down. So hope you guys enjoying this content. Let me get back to some porting. I'll put you guys back on the time lapse. All right, guys, so it's been a few hours now. I completely have done coarse compound, fine compound again, and then checked all the valves. I installed new seals so that we will have no smoking with this motor, or at least from the head. These, and what I'm showing you right now, these are Crane Cam high performance valve springs. The reason why we're going with Crane Cam high performance valve springs, because we're going with a Crane 16. So the Neon single cams are pretty good with cam selection. So you can basically order all the way from a Crane 10, I think, to a Crane 22. The Crane 10 is very like OEM. It's basically a Magnum RT cam, which is what we have right here. And then, of course, as you go up in numbers, the cam gets bigger. At least we got the head to this point with new seals in it. Everything's cleaned. Everything's ready for assembly. We also got new lifters. I think I threw them in this box. Yeah, we also got brand new lifters for the assemblies. We got these block off plates, but the RT head doesn't have these, so we don't need those. Those are for the old school head. But if I pull one of these retainers out and you pull it out of the bag and you set it on the spring, you can see that it doesn't set down in the groove. So I'm gonna have to do some research and talk to my brother, because this is my brother's build and he's the one that ordered these parts. I know the cam will fit. I know the retainers, I know the springs will fit. The valves are all nice and lapped and sealed now. Has a decent cleanup port job. So we are going to have to order the right retainers or use the stock retainers for now. We do have another cam. We are going to have a bigger cam we can test later. This is going to be our first setup, our nitrous setup for the beginning. So at least we'll have the springs in the head so we can swap cams and do everything that we need to. For the bottom end, and what you'll be seeing in the next video, I finally got the crank pulley off of this thing. These things are horrible getting crank pulleys off. I actually broke the tool, it's right there. And I was trying to fix the PT Cruiser as well, and you can see that the pulley's all messed up, and can't get the pulley off. So I'm gonna have to find a puller. But what we got for this, we got a whole gasket kit. We got a water pump timing belt kit. We got a old school AEM pulley, so we can actually degree the cam, set everything up properly. We got ARP head studs. We have a brand new Millings oil pump, I believe. There's assembly lube, filter. Yeah, Millings Performance oil pump. So we have really good parts for this. The reason why it took us so long to actually get started on the build is because we were waiting for these. So what we special ordered from JE, it's gonna be hard here with one hand, is a set of forged 12-to-1 pistons. So the pistons were, of course, special ordered. They didn't have any in stock, so of course they made them for us. And the motor is going to have a set of Eagle connecting rods, a set of JE 12-to-1 pistons. Like I said, that's a Crane 16 cam to start with, and then we also have a Crane 20. We have a mill oil or head gasket, so OEM style head gasket, and then there's the rest of the gasket kit. So this motor should have no issues taking a 150 shot that we plan on putting to it. But that's all for the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. As always, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think about the single cam nitrous build, and what do you think it's gonna make for power? What do you think it will rev to? What do you let me know what you think. As always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, already subscribe. If you haven't watched any of the other videos, the introduction of the Neon nitrous car, I did, I think, 5 videos ago. So go back and check that out, and have a great day.